Fantastic. Let me go ahead and get my box open so I can see what's going on. Hello, everyone. I see Jennifer, Meryl, Vicky. Wow, good to see you guys. Wow, lots of talk here. Huh? Somebody says boom. Boom and boo to you. Hello, everyone. Tonight, we're getting started in just a second. It's good to see you all. Stephen Clark. Yes, we're about to start in a few seconds now. All right. Hey, Christy, Carolyn. You guys are great. Good to see you here. I love real-time chat, by the way. You have no idea the difference this makes. Oh, man. Yeah, that's funny. I love being able to see people in real time. You know, in a second, I'm going to introduce to you what we're going to be talking about. And it's truly a pleasure to be here. I'm in West Palm Beach visiting my son, David. I'm going to be here for at least another 10 days at least, right, Dave? I think 10 days. And so, but Dwayne Jr. and I have been talking about sharing this with you guys for some time, and there's no better time like the present. So, is that Alfredo? Hey, what's up, Alfredo? Looks like it. Yeah, good to see you guys, man. I don't know. How many of you guys, before we get started this thing, how many of you were going to see in Miami, Florida? Somebody says, is this a new webinar platform, Dwayne? Yeah, but we get to use it first before you guys do.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they can just enlarge the window to be able to see it. But that window's popping, man. That's what I like. I need to be able to see people. Yeah, West Palm Beach is nice. Okay, it's 9 o'clock sharp. And Dwayne, let's give him one more minute.
Okay.
Before we go ahead. Then I'll lay it down because people are still arriving, and I don't want anybody to miss what we're about to share. Charles, are you still there, buddy? If you are, Charles, I want you to. Okay, let me tell you right out the gate. You're going to be doing this thing in Facebook and in Skype and in chatting and text. People always do this thing called SMH, shaking my head, right? You're going to be doing that when we show this with Tim doing. Is he not going to be falling out of his chair?
Oh, yeah, you're going to be cracking up, man, but it's real.
And you know what? It really gets down to it. Everybody's talking about, man, I can't wait to get some cool things or get something. You know, it's about being creative. You really can work with what you have. You can wait for all these new things coming out, and you can wait for so-and-so is going to be releasing something in 3 months, or you can work with whatever you have at any point, and that's a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight. And, oh, good, Aaron. I'm glad you like it, man. We love the new platform, too. And just think, in a week from now, you guys will be using it. Okay. Somebody said hit refresh. Okay. Let me see. Everybody's sitting there. Hey, Ray. Good to see you, too. Mike? All right, man. Everybody. Okay, good to see you guys. Okay, so here we go. Is that for me? Whoever did that in Skype, is that for me? If it is, I'll check it out before going. Okay, good deal, Tom. You're the bomb.com, man. Okay, so here's what it's about tonight, guys. Some of you, I already know. Remember, I can see everything. I know everybody talks a good one, but when it gets down to it, it's only about 3% of the world population who will ever go after their dreams and do what they really believe. I already know that. It doesn't matter if you're going to give the cure to that would ail someone to them. They have to take it out of their pocket and use it. And here's what I say. I say this about the 30-day blueprint, Dwayne. If I look at it and do the division based on the number, the tens of thousands of people we have in our company versus the few that do it, it's no wonder that usually you can count on 2 hands twice the number of people that will walk across the stage at an event. You can usually count across 2 hands who's going to be consistent without excuses, without blaming uplines and all that stuff. And tonight, I'm going to take it down closer to the nitty-gritty with Dwayne Jr. as we share with you guys. Now, I might have to disable the chat in a minute because I want you guys not to miss what I'm about to say. If you miss it, it's going to be proof in the pudding. So I'm really going to want you to certainly Pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, because once you hear this, you're going to be blown away. And it's time to stop. For anybody who's playing games, and don't do it, because that's the reason you have what you have. December's coming, and most network marketers wait until Thanksgiving to start trying to make a great year. You don't have to do that. There's plenty of opportunity to do it here. So, Charles?
Yeah.
I could hide chat while I'm talking for a second, couldn't I?
You can.
Okay. I may do that if I notice no one's paying attention. If you guys aren't getting it, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste mine, because what we're sharing with you tonight, we've only shared it with clients who are going to make their fortunes through their business. We've not shared it with our company members. This is stuff people pay lots of money for, so I'm going to share it with you. I want your attention. Por favor, amigos, por siempre. Okay. So Dwayne, you heard my Spanish. So here it goes. Dwayne Jr. and I, over the last 7 years, have worked closely, 7 and 8 years, have worked close together on internet marketing things, and I'll be the first to admit, I've been on his coattail. As he comes up with something new, he'll introduce it and say, Dad, I got something hot, here's the way it works, boom. And with that in mind, about 2 years ago, was it, Dwayne? 2 years ago, 2.5 years?
What's that?
About 2 years ago, you brought to my attention about this idea of providing a resource to companies and businesses that most don't have a good quality service. And so I think it's important for you, like, just open up, before we share what happened and how you created this 5-figure monthly income from it, let's share with them the power, just a little bit, talk a little bit about what they just had released into their back office 2 days ago.
Okay, and this is obviously in reference to the chat. So yeah, here's a huge thing. Like, there's obviously so much opportunity with Ingreso. You guys are, a lot of you guys on there have made a lot of money. Some of you guys are on your way. You at least know somebody who's made decent money with Ingreso with our compensation plan. But we're launching some products and giving you guys an opportunity, you know, to freelance. By freelance, I mean we're giving you these tools to use at your discretion. If you want to use them for another business or to start your own business, you are very well welcome to do so. And with Chat and Serve, you guys have a unique opportunity. I know, because I've done it myself, to make a full-time income just as a freelancer using these products you get just as a member. So instead of, you know, working at a McDonald's, or starting a McDonald's and having to pay some huge monthly rent or something like that, with Chat and Serve, all you're doing is paying your 25 monthly subscription, and you have access to something so amazing. I can't wait to dive into it. I don't want to go too deep, because you told me.
Okay. But, all right, so here we go.
I just tell you what. Just so they have an idea of their head. This is something that I don't know how much you guys are currently making in Ingreso, but this is something that could easily add $2,000 to $4,000 a month, starting as soon as this month for you guys, if you can follow the steps, obviously.
Yeah, and if you're over aggressive, of course, even more.
Absolutely.
So here's the bottom line. We don't want to just release stuff to you. We really want to become better at training you in how to leverage them for greater income. So here's the bottom line. Right now, there's something a lot of you don't have many skills with or don't understand, and we're going to break it down for you tonight, and that is in being a freelancer. There are literal, what I call, houses around the internet where people are looking for a service that you have to offer, but you don't know that they're there, and they don't know that you're there. So what Dwayne Jr. been able to do with the equivalent of Chat and Serve, but not as good as our chatting service, is that he created his own business model where he would find a company, offer live chat service, right? And he's going to break it down into detail. Then, once he got a contract written up, then he would go to one of these little houses, we call it, and he's going to break down the details of where you do it, and he'd go in and would find agents who will work for it. Now here's the catch. I want someone to type it in how much are you making if you have 3 companies paying you $2,500 a month for live chat service 40 hours a week, and you're not doing any of the service? All you are is the owner of that business. You type it in, how much are you making? 3 companies are paying you $2,500 a month, and all you have to do is provide them chat agents who can be educated on their company or their products and services. Yeah. Oh, I didn't stop the check. You didn't stop the check, did you, chat? Did you? Okay. Okay, thank you, Michael. Michael Martin's funny. So while they're writing that in, yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. $7,500. Now, Dwayne, I don't want to jump the gun because we have the whole hour to do this, but I want to see, this is before we release the webinar hangout software. You got to understand there's a real money maker in your face, right? So let's just see how this works. So Dwayne, let's talk about customer number 1. You have this live chat software, but they don't know, this stuff costs hundreds of dollars a month. But if you're an Ingreso, you got your own live chat service that you can provide it as a freelancer. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about you. Let's say this is you, and you used this company back when you did this, when you started this. Let's talk about customer number 1. What happened? How did you get to find someone looking for this, or how did you come up with how did you work out your idea? And just talk a little bit about how you can make this work.
Okay, great question. Well, generally speaking, most network marketing companies or marketers out there don't have live chat support, and if they do, it is the worst thing you could even imagine. You have to wait hours and hours and hours just to get an answer. As you guys know, this is not the case for Ingreso. But I recognized that, so once I recognized that, I was like, hey, I think I can see something that I could do here. So I discovered a live chat software and started, contacting people. And before you know it, I had like a business that's earning me thousands of dollars every month. And I wasn't doing the work myself. I don't want to go too far, too fast, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's pretty nuts.
And Dwayne, one of the things that's cool is, like, first you get your first client. Let's say you get a client. Let's say you have a client, you want to say probably $1,600, and they need live support for 5 days a week, or maybe a couple hours on a Saturday. And let's say you have $1,600 that they're going to pay you for. Let's go ahead and break it down a little bit so these guys know that they don't have to lose their time with it. They can leverage their time by finding people who are looking to work and be agents. Let's talk a little bit about that. How do you take that $1,600 and allow it to still be profit and provide for your client?
Okay, that's a great question. So there's a lot of sites out there. Some of you guys are familiar with them and some of you are not. This may be something you want to write down. Odesk.com, so the letter O and then desk.com, is like a freelance market. So basically there's people on there looking for jobs and they'll offer their services from all over the world. So there's people from the Philippines, people from India, people from the United States on there looking for work in customer service specifically. So what I did, I looked and found some people that worked in the Philippines, some in even Colombia, South America, and I would hire them, but I would hire them for a price. So I would always look for around the $500, maybe $600 if they're really, really good. And these people in these countries, it's not like you're underpaying them. This is decent money where they live, and they're going to work a lot harder than a typical American kid fresh out of college is. So you find somebody, you go through the interview process, and you pay them about $500, and you got $1,000 left over for you to do whatever you want. And it's not even really you doing the work. You just follow up with the agent, see how everything's going. You follow up with the customer, but there's not really any heavy lifting. It's just like, I don't want to say free money, but it's almost like that.
Well, how about this, Dwayne? What they got to know is, even with that $500, that in many cases is more than these workers, more than the standard of living in their country. So they're able to provide for their family, and then once they prove that they work well, they get raises and can do better. It's the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Now, if someone says their screen is frozen, allow me to help you. Just push refresh. Everybody says it's fine on their end. Depends on what type of computer you have. This is a lot of streaming. You can just refresh your screen if you have any challenges. So how about this, Junior? So let's take that's one client. Okay, so you have a $1,600 contract a month, and you have someone who says, I will be an agent. I will work from 10 to 3 every day. And with this agent, now you have an $1,100 profit, and for your business, And now when you go to talk to another customer, let's talk about what happens when you can show them what you're already doing. You can show them what's happening with another client of yours. Let's talk a little bit about the leverage you have when you can show the value of what you're offering with another customer.
Yeah, once you get your first client, so obviously, depending on what situation you're in financially, but your first client, you're not trying to make too much money. You just want to get that first client out of the way so you can then use that as leverage. So maybe like $1,000 or $1,200 or $1,600 like you said. But the next client, after you got that first one, now you know the value of what you provide. You have proof of it. You can then, with our chat system, you can now generate reports. Say, here's what we've been doing for the last few months with this other client, or with this other client. You can also tell them the kind of value you provide. So the beauty of live chat is it keeps customers engaged. So if you're talking to a company who's looking for more customers and wants people to buy while they're on their website, you can tell them, generally speaking, when somebody gets to your website, you got about 7 seconds before they leave. A live chat agent can totally change that for you. You can ask them questions. You can start the conversation and not wait for somebody to speak to you. So there's so much value you're offering them just by keeping people on a website or closing deals or offering live support. So then you can start to raise your prices to more like $2,500 a month.
Now, just so they really can get how powerful this is, why don't we just take, you start off with just typical businesses, and before you know it, most of you guys don't realize this, a lot of network marketing companies will have listed on their site that they offer live chat service, but even 24 hours a day, it always says not available. One of the cool things you have at your fingertips is that this stuff works so well that I think 2 of your clients in your first 6 months were MLM companies. Correct, or am I wrong? Out of place?
No, it's totally true. And at some point, here's what happened to me. Just so you guys know, if you get a client that's growing and their business is actually flourishing, you're gonna need to hire more agents. And when you hire more agents, you get to charge them more money, and you always make sure you got a little leftover extra for yourself.
So to answer your question, John's asking, so what would be a good price to charge? And here's how you do this. So you're not overworking your agent. If a company has, let's say, under 5,000 or less users, right? You can charge probably about $1,600 a month, flat, for a 32 to 40-hour work week. Is that about right, Dwayne? Am I saying this right? Because I remember you had a scale.
Well,
when they get above 5,000.
Well, 5,000 is a pretty big number. It depends how many people they get actually to their site every day.
Right.
So I think that may be the bigger number more than active members if it's how many people they're getting to their site. And any company can tell you how many hits they're getting every day. Once you can determine that, you can pretty much do that. So the biggest thing is people can usually hit, like your agent should be able to handle at least 3 chats at a time. So you can do the math from there. But yeah, $1,600 is a great starting point.
Now let's talk a little bit about something different that we didn't talk about much in it, and that is you can increase your price when you offer multilingual. Even if, watch how powerful this is, even if you don't speak the other language, just make sure your agent that you hire speaks English fluently and that language fluently, and now you can make literally double and triple the standard amount.
Yeah,
I hope you guys got that.
Yeah, what's really cool is you can offer strictly bilingual chat services. That doesn't mean you go out and hire 2 different agents. That means you go and hire somebody from South America who knows English.
And guess what?
Follow me?
Hey, Dwayne, inside of the IC Language Institute, there are thousands of people in Latin America who would love to be a chat agent when they finish learning their English. They will be a chat agent for you. And the average income in Colombia is $300 a month, so you can imagine what blessing you would be for their life to offer like $500. And guess what? Clients are not hard to find. If you don't believe me, go out to a typical website and have your mind blown. Go in the middle of the day, go at night, and even if they say they offer live chat, 9 times out of 10, there's nobody there.
Not just that, like, you're so right, but like, if there's so many different people that need live chat, the majority of websites right now still don't even have it. So when you go out there and you know the value you're providing, you're going to raise somebody's bottom line just by having somebody there to talk to. You're going to get more sales. You're going to be able to generate reports every single week or daily if they want it. They can go back and read chats. You can go feel comfortable offering $3,000 a month for live chat and an overhead of only like $600. And when you get really good, don't forget this. When you get really good, I learned this from you, Dad. When you sign a contract when you get a few clients already, when you sign your contract, you say, hey, minimum 6 months contract. That way you can guarantee yourself $3,000 a month for 6 months.
Yeah. That is, I remember when you did that, Dwayne, and it protects your employees, but it protects your company and helps you be able to grow. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you, guys don't even know this. Before we had our own live chat service, we were using Dwayne's company to do all of our live chat in Spanish and English. Surprise.
Hello.
Did you not? As somebody said tonight, booyah. Hey, Dylan or Tom, can one of you guys help me? There's a guy named Doug here, and I guess someone told him he's not allowed to come in unless he brings 2 people or something. I don't really get that part. Could you help him out? Let him know that stuff's not. I'm not sure what someone told him, but I see he's not. People are welcome with whatever they have or however they come in. And you guys can talk to him about that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, isn't that cool though? Like, can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's crazy though, Dwayne? When you were doing that, I was watching. Me and the mom were like, "Geez, this freaking kid. He's over in Colombia, right? And I keep seeing these posts on vacation at these different resorts, and I was getting like, dude, what's he doing? You know, I was 35 to 40 before I could have any kind of a life. Here you are, 23, 24. You're killing it. And then I look up some of my people that I know. They're using your service for their network marketing company. Not just here, but you were even in India and other places. It was blowing my mind. And if our members knew what they really have, they would not complain about their upline. They would not say, I'd rather be moved. They would stop all this junk and work their business. Because we have enough power right now. Some of you guys, you could have your own newsletter business with Magically Spotter. You just like to complain. You could do so many things, but tonight, it's all about chat and serve. You can literally chat and serve with your personal account that we give you through IC. And if you, by the end of the week, I bet you can talk to 10 MLM companies. 3 of them are going to hire you if you don't drop the ball and can have a serious business.
Man, the beauty of it is it's not time consuming. You're at home chilling. All you're doing is checking in every once in a while to make sure everything's running smoothly. Maybe your agent has a question, but you're not in the chat yourself. You still have your full day to go out and get more clients if that's what you want to do. That's what I really loved about it. That's how I was able to go on all those vacations and just hang out all day and watch sports. Once you set this thing up, it's rolling. It's all about client generation and more at that point. So
yeah, okay, why don't you do this? Can you tell them a little bit about, I would like to know, and then if Dylan or Tom or Charles have any questions about it, because I know we surprised you with this too, you guys. I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about Dwayne. We know it's not just that easy. I mean, these people have to be trained into what the company offers. So kind of tell us about it.
That's a good question, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's not complicated. You spend 3 days max. When I hire somebody, say your first 3 days is in training, you spend actually 3 days with them training on common things that people may add.
I think before you go any further, you got to pause for a second. I think when Tom came on, we lost a lot of people are saying that they couldn't get back in, so they're coming back in now. But yeah, it went from I see what they're saying. Let it catch up a second, so they can get. Okay, there we go. A lot of them are back that quick. Fantastic.
Okay, good.
All right, good deal. All right, cool. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish. Tell us about it. So let's say you take on a client, and this client has a company that does, I don't know, they sell widgets. They sell seasoning for food. Do you just throw an agent in the water, or what happens? I mean, how does this work?
Well, obviously, when you're hiring the person, you make sure you do due diligence. Make sure you got a bright person, somebody that's actually a real worker, and then you tell them, your first 3 days of working here are going to be only training. Are you okay with that, and you're still willing to move forward? You have to have somebody that's going to be willing to take the time and learn what they need to learn. So what you do is you go through the entire whatever their client website is, and you spend 3 days going through and in and out to the website with them, and you make sure they're doing homework even after hours. That's what I would do. And after those 3 days, just learning on the job.
Well, here's something I think about. I came to visit you 2 years ago in Colombia, and Dylan, you're gonna love this. I'm like, hey, dude, let's do some lunch. Okay, Dad, it's cool, man. And then I get an hour, like 30 minutes before my lunch is to start. He says, Dad, I gotta be honest with you. I've been waiting for I have an interview of this. I have a new employee that's going to be starting, but I need to just interview her. I'm sorry. Can we just meet another day? I was like so blown away. Like my wife and I waited so long to finally get back to Colombia to visit, right? And we get there, and we have this cool meeting set up in Jarvis Park at one of the restaurants, and Dwayne has to move it to a day or two later because he's interviewing a new person. And watch how cool this is. He needed the person to speak English and Spanish. I think they were from where? Scotland or somewhere? Where's she from?
I'm not sure. It was some European.
And my goodness, it was such a great lunch. I wasn't as mad because he's able to hire her. And this girl, he said she's a machine, Pop. She's really doing. She's one of the better agents that I have. And what happens is you can take on as many clients as you want because 2/3 of our world is looking for a better way of life. And the difference, the money you complain about, makes for other places around the world, you would just be in awe. So
I was gonna say this too. So like those 3 days of training, don't let that scare you. Don't make that. If you need money now, don't let that scare you off. The company pays you for those 3 days of training. They realize like, hey, the month starts today, and the first 3 days you tell them up front are going to be training my new agents so they can be ready for you. And then they say, okay, that's it. So you're getting paid for the whole training process too. So don't let that throw you off too much.
Yeah. So let me tell these guys chatting something. I want you guys, Doug, hang on. We got you, dude, okay? Because we'll have a thread on YouTube with this stuff too. I want you guys to go and hang on a second because right now, the distractions you might get through the chat area, you're going to miss how to plug this in for yourself. So hold tight. Cut back on it, all right? We'll do some interacting in a minute, but go ahead because if we block chat, you're really going to miss a lot, and I want this to be an absolute blessing for you guys. It hurt me so much last year, guys, to see so many people waiting until Thanksgiving to try and take care of their family. What we're sharing with you now, we've only shared with clients who pay us in how to raise their level of business. So good. Now this is good. Dwayne Jr., what did you mean by giving them homework? This is terribly important. I want you to break it down and also talk about how you even will make videos and just meet with them once, however you do it. Talk to them.
Oh, well, first thing was like most company websites, if it's MLM or marketers, they have like loads of videos. I would say, hey, I know that your hours are up, but by the time we talk tomorrow morning, I'd like to make sure that you've seen every one of those videos. And the next morning, I'll ask them if they've watched them and maybe ask them a few questions just to make sure they understand it. So I'll give them like extra homework, like watch the videos, read over the comp plan, make sure you understand it. I may send them an email with some Word docs about the company. Make sure they're doing that on their time off.
Yeah, and so they can see this is not about being in desperate mode, because I'm going to tell you something. The more desperate some of you guys become, the worse things get, and you don't know why. And I'm going to tell you why. When your emotions goes up, your intellect goes down. And I'm going to tell you this. When Dwayne was doing this, how much were you paying per month for your apartment in Colombia? No, I don't mean to be nosy, but I want them to see the power of not being desperate.
No, it was cheap, man. It was like $600 a month.
So it's $600 a month. You didn't have to go out and get more clients or anything, right? You're doing it because
I wanted to.
Trying to grow your business. You're not doing it because you're desperate. And so
exactly.
You can make better decisions if you're not doing it for those reasons. So now, my thing for you guys is this. Listen up and certainly be ready for what we're going to show. Don't worry, you're not going to be left alone at all. Their company or yours. Yeah, they learn about the company that they're going to be serving, just to answer Cass. So here's the deal. Not now. Some of these questions you're going to get later. Dwayne Jr. is going to offer a webinar a week for 3 weeks showing you how to build your own freelance business using this stuff. But don't get left in the dust. Don't get so caught up right now that you might miss some of the outlying pieces, because you heard me say something. It wasn't just typical businesses, and it wasn't just one language. It was standard typical businesses and MLM businesses and penny auction businesses. Do you understand? There's no limit. This is a 5-figure plus income if, in fact, you can be stable and organized enough. Stable and organized, not random and excited. Randomness and excitement with no strategy and no purpose and planning is nothing more than what you have now, except it feels worse. It's more frustrating. So, I asked a couple things on behalf of our members, but I'd like for Dylan and Tom or Charles, if you guys, you guys are what I call the internet marketer, all the stuff you guys do with, by the way, you guys don't know, a lot of this new software you're seeing, we couldn't have had happen without the input of these guys who are using this software out there everywhere else anyway. So any questions you have about how this works, guys?
I personally don't have any questions, Dwayne. I mean, I think it's an incredible system. I think if people leverage it, I think they can do exactly what you're saying. You know, it's people have to use the tools to experience how awesome this program is. It's not just about the income.
Yeah.
I would add in that it's not just MLM companies that need this. If you look at any small business, any business that you see that has a website, they need to have people that are there that can answer questions when people come there. And so when you start thinking about all the businesses that are out there, all the businesses that have website but don't have live chat, that is your universe to make money with this.
Yes. Totally.
So one thing you guys can see, we just spent maybe 20 minutes talking a little bit about something that's already in front of you. We're just trying to shed some light on it for you, because the systems that we've been using cost between $700 and $1,200 a month in total for using it the way we've been using it with agents. You have it in your back office and ready to work for you. Now, with that being said, Junior, there's been a couple questions about it, but you talked about homework. You talked about the communication between you and the agents. Because here's the deal. Anybody can get a contract, but it takes a decent business person to keep one. So this whole idea of training or working with your agents is important, because I know some guys like collect money, but they don't like the other stuff that follows it. Can you talk a little bit about that so that they don't get one side of this?
Oh, yeah. So, like, the communication between you and your agents is very important. So sometimes you'll notice if you hire somebody that's not good, they'll just make up answers about the company they're providing the service for that they really don't have the answer to, rather than going ahead and asking you so they can be sure it's right. So that's going to be a big thing. Is sure people are not afraid to talk to you. So if the customer comes to a site and asks them questions, that they're not making up questions, making up the answers in their head, So that's going to be a huge part. And another thing is, this is the more important part, or not more important, but just as important, is communicating with your client, updating them weekly. Say, hey, man, things in the chat are going well. A lot of people are asking about this, sending them reports. Keep them in touch with your client, making sure they're going to stay your client, and potentially upselling them. So, the communication is key.
You said upsell them. Let them see the value of, with a check software like this, you have a client that's paying you $2,500 a month, and yet the client comes to you and says, look, I love what you're doing, but we're having a big, I know you used to tell me about this, you'd have a client that would come to you and tell you they have a big event coming, and they're going to be doing X, Y, and Z. Can you guys do the support for it? I don't know if you remember this, but talk a little bit about how you get the upsell when the client loves it so much that they have people representing them. Talk a little bit about, what do you mean by upsell?
What I mean by upsell is like, maybe you could tell them, hey, you know what, I noticed that you guys are having a new event coming up. If you guys want me to do support for that, I can cut you an amazing discount. So what I would do, anytime a client sends me a referral, or if they have another website they'd like me to manage for them with live chat, I would offer them a discount, sometimes 30%, because it's all profit at that point. Sometimes you can even use the same agent. So rather than charging for the event, let's say for the event live chat, I would just charge them, instead of 1,600, maybe 800. Give them 50% off. It's still all profit at the end of the day, and you're not doing it, and you're more likely to get that extra money. So.
And check this out. I've seen that there's a repeated question coming in quite a bit, and thank you, Tom, for answering that. People are asking, so can we just put this on a company's website? It's so cool. You just copy the widget, it's coding inside, and you tell the company, your customer, give it to their programmer on the page that you want it on. That's it. The rest is on your side.
It takes a total of 5 seconds to copy and paste that into any website. It's very easy, and any website manager or programmer would take 5 seconds to copy and another second to paste it, and it's done.
Yeah, it's some pretty incredible. It's really easy to set up for one thing, on their part, and then again, like you guys said, you got full control on your end. To add to something that Dwayne Jr. said is, I've some experience in like live chat support and things like that because I came from a customer service background many years ago. But you could even set it up to where even if you're not paying somebody per hour or per job, you can even set it up because you can track how many chat messages or how many conversations they've had with your end user, your customer, your prospect. You could pay them per conversation too. There's so many different possibilities. It's pretty much endless with this.
Yeah, and somebody's asking, can the widget be used on multiple websites? Yeah, you can have 5 customers and the same 4 agents supporting all if you want. That's your call. It'll work. You can have the same widget.
Yeah. You can. So like if a customer, if you have a customer that has another website they want you to do, you can use the same exact widget with no problem.
Yeah, and someone asked about, is it just HTML? It's HTML, WordPress. It just. Relax for a second. Don't jump too far in front of us. Let us go with you for a second, okay? If we're going to help, hang tight. I'm glad you're thinking tonight. This is not a one-way webinar where we're just all talking. You guys are talking too. That's great. So here's the catch. Someone says they're already using it on their sites. That's good. But with most chat agent software that you buy out there, you're going to pay through the nose with agents. Then you're going to be restricted depending if it's if you have a PC or a Mac, you're going to have all these limitations. What we try to do at our company, we try to keep everything web-based and cloud-based, you understand, away from this so you're not restricted to the type of computers that you're using. So with our chat service, you're not going to be restricted to, oh gosh, I forgot, I've got Windows 7, so it's not going to work for me. No, it's not related to your system at all. It's related to what's on the web. Most of the software you buy out there, what we were using before we hired Dwayne's company, we were using software where you downloaded it, but I use a Mac. Some of our other people use a PC, and so it would freeze up. Then, when we both were on at the same time, it would clash. We have software that now is synergistically works along with every user, and the owner, quote, can monitor all the words. An owner can see everything that's said to a client's customer, and then review it and go back and evaluate it with that customer. An owner can see who's working and who's not. That way they can decide if they should fire someone or hire a new one. What we've done is something completely different than the other software that exists out there, so I just want to make that clear. This is not what you might already have, and if you have something, I'm glad for you. But if you're IC, you've got what I call state-of-the-art and part of the future because it's web-based, cloud-based, with no limits. Sheesh. Okay. Tom, what did I miss, man? What did I miss, Tom? Because I get excited.
Yeah. It's really easy to put it on WordPress, too. I can shoot you guys a video and put it up on the chat server YouTube channel.
Tom, are you going to have some trainings coming up about working with this thing? You guys going to have some trainings about this coming up? Working with...
we're just waiting for it to get done before we actually schedule it. But we can
okay, great.
Around do it sooner now that it's looking
yeah,
nice.
Absolutely. There'll be training for sure. I mean, you said Junior's doing Dwayne Junior's doing a three-part series.
Clients, not functionality. Getting clients and working with customers so that they can have their agents, because it's probably easier for people to learn how to use it because you guys can have the videos back there and doing trainings. What isn't easy and isn't isn't obvious, it's okay, I'm ready, I got all I need, but what do I say to someone?
Right.
If they say yes, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, the guy said yes for $3,000 a month, oh my God, what do I do? And that's reality, that happens. To avoid it, I want Junior to walk them through some simple steps they can do to secure the client and sustain the contract so they can really understand the muscle they get with IC.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Charles, you like that, didn't you? I'll do it one more time. There it goes.
MLM muscle right there.
Okay.
There'll be definitely training as far as the functionality, the ways to use the support, the tickets, the assigning the agents, all that stuff. Because there's so much stuff you can do with that system. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And trails. Junior's going to go over that in his webinar, and it's contract. You can just create a contract, and I'm sure maybe he'll have a template one you can download from the download zone or something. Just hang tight. Great questions, though. You guys rock. And this is recorded for later. It'll be available tomorrow in an email to everyone, but I'm glad you're here because I am pretty much, I turned 50 in a few months. You're going to find me disappearing, right? And I am so tired of people not realizing what they have in front of them. We decided we're going to start walking you guys through this stuff so you can not just say, oh, yeah, I got a back office, we got tools, and that's all it means to you. And then the same breath, you complain that your upline doesn't do it for you. Then you complain that your upline won't call you. Then you complain that your sideline's doing something. Then you complain about your downline. The only reason you do it is you really don't know the value you have. That's really what's wrong. So I'm sorry, I'm preaching now. I didn't mean to do. Dwayne's laughing at me.
I'm laughing because you touched
He grew up with
sideline.
Just go to work, right?
Yeah, that's it. Go to work and stop complaining. So let's break this down. Someone's already putting the YouTube link in there. It's so funny. Yeah, you guys can hold tight. These guys get excited. I hope you do that. I hope you guys work that fast when it's time to generate your income from your business, because that's good. You guys are all on this junk. Related to functionality, Charles, Dylan, and Tom, we talked about some of the simplicity with the widget. We didn't talk about what I call artificial intelligence. And that, to me, that's key. When Dwayne showed me that when he was doing it for us, I was thinking, how are you guys answering stuff so fast? And he explained to me how they programmed all of these answers in advance before someone asked. Can one of you guys kind of touch on this idea of shortcuts in artificial intelligence so they can see that it's not as much heavy lifting as it may appear to be?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can set up you start to type out a phrase, right, or a word in a response to a question, and it'll spit the whole thing out. You just hit enter, and it populates for you. Give
me an example. How do you mean?
So if someone maybe come on there and said, hey, I can't log in, and then maybe your response with the first part of you typing in would be, are you using the correct email or something like that? So after you type in ARE, then it populates, are you using the correct email? Then you just hit enter. So it types the rest of it out for you like instantly.
Yes.
For any phrase that you're thinking of, you program that yourself in the back office.
What's crazy about it, Tom, is I didn't grow up with it, but my kids did. In order to really connect with my kids, I got this thing called PlayStation like in 92 or 93, and we played football every year, right? And then when they would beat me really bad, I realized that the game had an artificial intelligence where it learns your moves, and then it would defend you. And so I used to call this thing fourth quarter semantics. When they would beat me, sometimes Dwayne would beat me like 108 to like 30, and then we'll tell everybody how bad he beat me. And I would say, yeah, it's easy because you guys play all the time. I'm new, and the game memorizes my moves, and it beats me with its artificial intelligence. And this reminds me of that because if someone comes in and says, I can't log in, literally, the responder can just type in login, and then the whole answer of what to do can pop in with this artificial intelligence. I love it. I love simplicity, and it also creates consistency. You don't have to worry about agents giving different answers to the same problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and what else was there? There was something else. So, Charles, you as a professor at a university, and someone who's worked in a lot of what I call traditional business, from what you can see, outside of the home business arena, and I know Dwayne's touched on it a little bit, what can you see a person can do for that company, that printing shop that's that's downtown, or someone can do for that shop that distributes medical supplies. I mean, tell me a little bit about what you think can happen from a traditional business standpoint with this type of software by our users.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's huge, because if you think about all of the businesses that have people that come to their website, and sometimes, you know, the old way, or at least what's becoming the old way, is you try to get them to opt in and to give people a special report. Well, you know what? Maybe I don't want to opt into your website to get your special report, and I think that's what a lot of small businesses are experiencing. I mean, if you come to a printing shop, you don't want their report on printing. You just want to know how much their stuff costs. And
how soon can I get it? Can I get a rush job? Can I get it back right away? That's what I usually want to know.
And that's why that chat person, they'll understand the value of that almost instantly. So it really is a matter of getting in front of them, and there's no better way to get them in front of them than to either get them on a webinar or to just show it to them. And if you show it to enough people just to help them, you will be able to get them to see the value. All you're doing is uncovering the value for small business, and you will have a percentage of people who will understand and want what you have.
Yeah, and so basically there's no limit. Here's where I look at it. I worked in church ministry since I was like 12 years old, right? So one of the places I see that's useful, you know, I have a brother that's a pastor, and he says, I can't bake the guys. They're stuck. They've been stuck all day and haven't been getting a hold of anybody at the church. So they finally found us in the yellow pages, dialed the number, and it forwarded to myself. So I've got to go help some mother and child stuck somewhere. And what's cool is what people can do with these live chat things is on their, on their mobile device, they can literally chat and get some help long before someone has to get a phone call or anything else. The sky's the limit with any type of industry. So the big questions out there is, how soon are you guys going to start training on this? I've read it. Don't worry, guys. I can read and talk at the same time. Others are saying, great. When can we start? When can we get some paperwork for this? Or when's Dwayne Jr. going to do his things? Hang on. Trust me. As excited as we get, we try not to be too excited where we're just random and not on purpose. So yes, there's going to be training. And I'm glad you're asking, or you wouldn't be here. But we'll lay it out for you. I imagine just because of the event and so forth, we'll probably start some next week, and our trainings will be done where they'll be recorded. So if you're not there and you're at the event, you still will be able to attend. Okay? The other thing is that, Dwayne Jr., when you do these trainings, if you could, take some of the stuff that you've done in the past, as far as maybe if you gave a cheat sheet to your agent, things like that, you can probably maybe generically make it a generic document that you could put in the download zone as PDFs. That way when you do your training, you can just refer to it. Like after it's over, they can all go to it and get it.
Like contracts and stuff?
Yeah, so.
Minus the.
Yeah. Yes, let me tell you guys this. Right now in this webinar, so I don't cut the chat off, trust me, we have a support team who can help you with that, and there's something probably wrong either in your mail, regarding Magic Responder. There are trainings, and Tom are doing both as soon as you can, whenever you guys can. I thought about this today. Do a training on email messages. You know, certain phrases are just going to get you kicked into spam, period. Certain home business, cash today, all that kind of language is going to get someone in. So right now, this webinar is not for that. Thank you in advance, but please go ahead and handle that in our support. You have a support ticket right now. We even have people working back there right now. And then tomorrow morning we have live chat. Right now, this webinar is for Chat and Serve. You can get what you're asking for fixed and miss the money that's ready for you in July if you're not careful. Did I say that wrong, guys? I did that right?
Good.
Okay, good. Make sure I'm good on that. Okay, Junior, anything else? As it's 9:47, give us some walk-away stuff. I mean, I try to get you to get people excited. You're so modest. I wanted you to say, man, I was raking it in from penny auctions. I had several MLM companies, and when the MLM company went from 8,000 to 13,000, I got this much of a raise. Then you guys at Ingreso couldn't handle what you were doing in just Spanish, so you need English and Spanish. I took that. I wanted you to go crazy, but you're such a modest guy. Give us some walk-away tips or something that gets us excited, man.
Yeah, walk-away tip is, yeah, man, there's so many different things out there. So my walk-away tip for chat and serve specifically would be, like, dive in, log in, look at it, and start hustling, man. There's so much opportunity here, and there's so low overhead and such a huge profit. So I wouldn't waste any time. I know all the hustlers that are listening, all the people who are actually about action and all that kind of stuff. We'll go ahead and dive in right away. So if you guys are looking to, if you guys need, I don't know what kind of financial situation you guys are in, if you need $2,000, $3,000, or even a lot more than that, this is a huge opportunity here. You can ignore it or you can act on it.
Hey, Dwayne,
Yeah,
how much does it cost to create an account at Odesk or Elance or one of these places where you find the... Why don't you do me a favor?
Free.
Put it in the chat area, the kind of places that they can go and create free accounts and profiles now, so by the time you do a training, they're not wasting any time in that chat area doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for some reason the chat area on my screen is never loaded, so I can't really even see anything that's going on.
You have to click on it, dude. That's okay. I probably have it on high chat. Okay, no problem. Okay, so here's the deal. Elance.com is free. Odesk.com is free. Create a profile. So when he does this webinar with you guys, you're going to be able to follow the steps and already have your profile and find agents as soon as you find a client. Dwayne Jr. didn't have agents first, did you? Which came first, the client or the agent? Dwayne? I knew you're going to love this.
Client. Oh, client, every time. Yeah,
the client came first.
Time.
Once he got a contract, within 24 hours, right, he has a team of agents ready to go to work. That's the power of the internet. That's the power of what we're offering to you. They're free, guys. There's more than that. There's not just Odesk and Elance. I just gave you two because you guys like to run crazy. I can see it in the chat window. I'm just giving you two for now. And you create profiles.
Freelancer.com.
And good. What's that?
Freelancer.com is one of them.
Yeah, freelancer.com. We could go, but dude, that's enough for now. Don't give them too many. Trust me. This crew here, they are busy, bro. Okay? And here's what's crazy about it. If you put up a job posting for the day and said live chat agent pays what, $8 an hour, $10 an hour, or a flat rate per month, how long does it take? By the next morning, how many inboxes do you have of people ready to go to work? Let them experience what that's like. Tell me.
Well, as long as you're paying out like a number like we suggested, such as like 500 to 600, you should have at least 40, 30 something.
At least 40
and what I would do, if I need somebody right away within the next 24 hours, let's say,
yeah. Wow, that's it. I was saying 40 people. 40 people in one day ready to go to work as your agent. Do you guys get this? And it gets better. And Carolyn, absolutely. Clients have to learn to train their site, but Dwayne Jr.'s already gone over that. Come to his webinar so you can find out how to train and prepare them. But if you get 40 people with one posting in one day, if you wanted to take your time and you put a posting up for an entire week, you guys will have hundreds of people around the world ready to work for you at any time frame and in US dollar. Period. Now, here's a tip for you. This concept works so well that every single one of our chat agents came from the very way we were explaining it to you. Now, you decide what to do with that.
this is a fact.
Huh? They're now friends and family. That's how they started, but now they're here to stay. But that's how we found them. We didn't go to school with them. We didn't work with them down at the coffee shop. We never met them before. They came through the same model, from the same house of Odesk, Freelancer, all these places. And guess what? We are able to provide support to you all using this model. My goodness, couldn't you all create your own fortune just following the model?
Absolutely. I'll answer for everybody. Absolutely.
Okay. Someone's asking about white label. Here's the deal. Become a reseller. The label doesn't matter because you're offering a chat service to someone. Nobody cares what label is, but bottom line is become a reseller.
Tell them this. Like, you never mention the software. You never give away your guns.
Ever.
Ever, under any circumstances.